All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Raw Intuition Health Show. It is going to be a great show today. We've got one of the guys that I've looked up to and just followed ever since I got into this lifestyle. So it's somebody that it's an honor to have him on the show, and he's been impacting countless thousands and thousands of people's lives, especially with diabetes. And you probably already know it's Robby Barbaro from Mastering Diabetes. And so Robby was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 12 years old. And he, went through a path of finding, what works best for him. And he came across a fruit-based diet. And so since 2006, it looks like he's been eating pounds of fruit every single day as a type 1 diabetic and experiencing very stable and healthy blood glucose levels and excellent health ever since. So we're going to bring Robby in here. What's up, Robby? Thanks for being on the show.
Matt, it's great to be here. I love what you're doing. You're getting people to open up their eyes to eating more fruit and taking care of themselves. So it's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. And, again, I've been watching you ever since I saw you. I think maybe, I don't know if it was Woodstock back in like 2011 or something, but, I've always resonated with the way that you present this information and the quality of the information that you put out. So it's always been, an inspiration for me to try and do the same. So thanks for everything that you do.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, guys, we are going to talk about why you need to eat more fruit. All right. Because there's a lot of misconceptions out there about fruit eating and, how it impacts our health. And so, again, nobody better than Robby, who's an expert, a fruit connoisseur and, truly an expert in health and just thriving with eating, a good amount of fruit. And so let's before we get into that, again, as always, we always give away a free gift. And so today, for somebody that asks a question during the Q&A session, let's see, I'm going to give away, I'll give you a choice. You can pick. You can either take 5-Star Salad Revolution or 21-day raw transformation program. Oh, sorry, my camera zooms in on its own. So yeah, you'll get a free ebook copy of that. And then Robby, do you want to share what they're going to win from you?
Yes, we have a foolproof natural recipe guide from Mastering Diabetes that we can offer you guys. And, really part of the passion about what we're doing at Mastering Diabetes is keeping it simple, right? So it's a bunch of simple recipes that have the proper proportions of greens and non-starchy vegetables to add to your carbohydrate-rich meals. So we hope you really enjoy it.
Terrific. Well, thanks a lot for doing that. Really appreciate that.
For sure.
So yeah, let's hop into the topic. We've got a cutoff at the top of the hour. So yeah, let's get started with Robby. Do you want to start us off with what?
Yeah. First thing I'll say is, I appreciate you talking about, the information that, I've been presenting and we've been offering to the world with Mastering Diabetes. Our focus is on evidence-based research. And so that's what we wrote in our book that has over 800 scientific citations. And so we're pulling from the research that's out there. And what I do personally, I've been doing this for over 18 years now, eating a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet that's primarily fruit-based, right? I consider it's almost like an extension of the research, like a logical extension. But you're not going to find, long-term studies on this. You're not going to find a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials of people eating this exact diet that I'm eating, right?
Yeah.
So what we do at Mastering Diabetes is it's all about personalized coaching, and we are helping people see, okay, where are you at right now? What are your goals, and where do you want to get along that journey? And most people actually don't even want to do completely what I do, right? It's like, and that's okay. But I hope that I'm bringing to light the solid science, the solid research, which could give people the confidence to go and do a little experimentation. But the fundamentals, they're already there. It's so rock solid. And so I think you had listed that I would cover 6 reasons to eat more fruit. Is that correct?
So we'll cover 6 together. Basically how we do it, we each bring 3 points that we like, top points that we wanted to present, and then we can kind of discuss them and just go like that. So we kind of go back and forth.
I don't even know what yours are. So this is going to be fun.
That's the fun of it. Yeah.
Okay. So I start with my first one. How about that?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So I think the number one reason to incorporate more fruit into your lifestyle is because it tastes amazing. I mean, like, almost everybody loves at least one fruit. Okay. If they're being honest, they're like, one fruit. Oh man, I wish I could have more of that fruit. But oftentimes people are limiting it or avoiding it because they think it's going to cause them to gain weight. They think it's going to cause them to spike their insulin levels. They think it'll make their blood glucose levels go up. So like, oh, I don't want to have too much. I love mangoes, but I can't have too much. I love bananas, but I can't have too much. So I want to help people eradicate that and know that fruit is one of those foods that you can actually eat in abundance. But the reason is that if you don't love your diet, you're not going to stick with it. It's just not going to last. You can use willpower for some period of time, sure, and get some great results. But 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, if you don't love it, if it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, it's not going to work. So I say number one is eat more fruit because it tastes amazing.
I mean, can't be any more clear than that. And it's so true. Like, that's why, there's different ways to do a vegan diet or a raw vegan diet, or, and there's the camp that will do mostly sprouts and greens and things, which is great. I love sprouts and greens. Obviously I gotta, book about salads, but yeah, it's like without the fruit, like fruit is just, it's so delicious, like you said. And it's like, it's hard to eat fruit and not feel good and like feel happy, right? I mean, fruit's 100%. Just like, it's like happiness in a little package.
100%. No question. It's nature's gift to us.
Yes. Yeah. Great way to start us off. Completely agree. I actually almost came up with the same one, but I went a little more metaphysical with mine. So, so my first one would be, you are what you eat, right? I think everybody understands that. And so this goes, pretty closely with what Robby just said. But you are what you eat. So, and I think you guys have heard me say this before, but if you want your life to be vibrant and sweet and, just delicious, right? Do you want a delicious life, or do you want a bland kind of gray brown life, right? You want vibrancy. You want to feel good. You want energy, right? And so that you eat fruit, you bring that vibration, that energy, that essence into yourself, and you can't help, like I just said, you can't help but to raise your vibration, to just feel better. I know personally, not that I was against eating fruit growing up, but I didn't really eat that much fruit. Like, I would have maybe a banana or an apple here or there, maybe some grapes or whatever, maybe some watermelon. But it was like, it wasn't a significant part of my diet. It was like here or there as a snack maybe, or like at a party. And so once I started to incorporate fruit back in 2011 into my diet as a main component, as a staple, as like the foundation of my diet, everything changed for me. My outlook on life, my outlook on myself, my disposition with everything, completely elevated, completely changed. And so that is something why I really, the main foundation of why I think you can feel so incredible, and why you see so many people transform their lives, and start doing things that they're passionate about, and helping others and things, because they're taking in that fruit, they're taking in that energy, and it's just a natural, organic process to want to, share that energy. And so when you take in the fruit, it's like, it brings you to another level, and you want to start, following your passions and helping other people. So That's my first one.
There's no question that people love to share the good news. You know, like it happens all the time. You start feeling amazing, and that's actually one of the biggest challenges of adopting healthier lifestyle. You know, seeing the light with the fruit, and then basically you just want everybody else to get it too. And you start telling your family, you start telling your friends, and they don't see it the same way you do, and it becomes very frustrating, especially if they're unwell or something's going wrong.
Yep.
And that can be one of the hardest parts of the lifestyle for sure, is just watching other people just not see it the same way as you see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to the next one now?
Sure. Yep. What do you got next?
Okay, so I would say the next reason is because eating, and we're talking about whole fruit here from my perspective. I mean, especially when it comes to people with diabetes who have blood glucose challenges. I got, you know, juices and all that stuff is fantastic. You know, we have a whole green light, yellow light, red light category. You know, fruit juices would fit in the yellow light category. They're, you know, they're good. It's just that if you're living with insulin challenges and blood glucose challenges, you want that fiber. You want to get as much fiber as you can. So when I'm talking about a whole fruit here, and one of the great reasons, I guess it would apply to juice as well, but fruit is very high in water content. There's no more pure water you could access on the planet than the water that is found in whole foods, whole plant foods. That is the purest water. Nature has filtered it, and it is gold. So eat more fruit because you're also consuming water. So people see these large meals that I'm consuming, and I share them on social media, and they're like, wow, that looks like so much food. And I'm like, no, it's quite deceptive. That's really a lot of water. It's a lot of water, then a good amount of fiber, and then the rest is just vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytochemicals, just a very small portion by mass. But it's really a bunch of water, and it's a great thing to have. You know, staying hydrated is just a flat out good thing for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was one of the first things that I noticed, I think, when I started eating more fruit and more vegetables even, but especially fruit. My elimination was like, I didn't realize how constipated I was, right? I didn't realize that having a bowel movement every 2 or 3 days was like not a normal healthy thing. So, I mean, maybe it's normal, but it's not healthy, right? So, yeah, so just the hydration for elimination, and like even just clearing up my brain fog and that sort of stuff. It's a game changer.
Totally. Love it.
Yeah. Sweet, man. All right, let's see. My next one is I would say fruit is great for helping you get into a parasympathetic state. All right. So it's got the antioxidants, it's got the, all these anti-inflammatory compounds, it's got the fiber to help you, eliminate much better. It encourages, the growth of healthy bacteria from the fiber in there, and the polyphenols, which are also prebiotic in nature, and so they help feed those good bacteria. Electrolytes, all these things that it helps take your body out of a stressful state, right? Because when we are dehydrated, and when we are, lacking in healthy, vitamins and minerals, it can put our body under stress. And so that is going to put us into a sympathetic state, which is the fight or flight, response. And so by filling your body with the hydration, with all those good vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, and that liquid sunshine, that can really help your nervous system and just your overall, health to kind of calm down and get into a much more calm state. And so for me, that definitely is something that I experienced. Again, like I had brain fog, really, a depressed condition. I was depressed, anxiety. My skin wasn't very good. I had blotchy skin, all these different things. And so once I started including the fresh fruits and vegetables, the whole fruits and vegetables, like Robby said, completely balanced out my system, really enhanced my immune system, and just overall improved everything. So that would be my next one, is to help yourself get into that parasympathetic state, which is the rest and digest and the heal state. So I think it's a good thing all around to do anything you can to get into that state.
Amazing. I love it. I mean, it's so fun. There's so many benefits, to when you adopt a low-fat, plant-based health food diet. Like the benefits are so wide-ranging, and
Yeah.
you were just touching on a lot of them. Okay, so my next point here would be you're simply gonna have an easier job meeting your fiber requirements. Like we have over 90% of the population in the United States does not consume enough fiber, and the recommended amount is not that much.
Right.
And so as you increase your fiber intake, you just listed a whole laundry list of benefits. I mean, we are just at the, understanding the tip of the iceberg of what happens when you actually meet your fiber requirements and have a healthy microbiome. So fruit's just a great source of fiber. It's as simple as that. It tastes delicious. It's got water. It's got fiber. Those are my 3 points, Matt.
Hey, those are perfect points. I think anybody that watches this is going to start eating more fruit based on just those 3. So yeah, I love it. Great points. And I'll just round it off with, I mean, it's hard to pick just 3, right? I mean, I'm trying to decide which one I want to go with, but it really relates to your first one. But I'll just say it's so easy, right? Like you said, you did mention that the easier you can make, this like eating healthy, the more sustainable it's going to be. So if you could look at any food and, you look at fruit, you don't have to season it. You don't have to put sauce on it. You don't have to make a big recipe with it. You just eat it, right? And so it makes eating healthy so much easier when you embrace fruit as a foundation of the diet. It can simplify and just make everything easier for you. Like I basically, as people know, my kind of basic approach to a daily design for my diet is SFS. It's smoothie, fruit, salad. All right. So I have a smoothie for breakfast. Then I have a big meal of fruit. Like right now, it's usually oranges because oranges are in season. And then I have my big 5-star salads to finish off the day. But having, fruit be the main staple for my first 2 meals, it's like it makes everything easier. And so if you're trying to get into this lifestyle and you want to make it as easy as possible, I would say eat more fruit, because you just peel it and eat it, and couldn't be any more simple than that.
I love it. I agree. The simplicity. It's like it can be a fast food meal. Although I do always add the caveat that the process of acquiring fruit, a high quality fruit, isn't always. So it's a little bit misleading when somebody's like, "Oh, it's just like the fastest meal ever. All you did was peel the bananas." Not so much. Like you had to really put some effort into acquiring the bananas,
Good point.
ripening the bananas and all that. It's not the same as just going to the Wendy's drive-through. But
Yeah.
Matt, I'm curious. I want to learn from you about your 5-star salads. Can you tell me what is a 5-star salad? And I'm just curious, based on your knowledge about salads, what could I do to up my salad game?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'll give you the 5 pillars. It's a salad that has 5 pillars. All right. So each pillar gets you a star. All right. So most people are eating like 1, maybe 2-star salads. So I came up with it because salads have been a staple for me really ever since I got into this lifestyle, and even before it actually, but I didn't really understand how to make a healthy, satisfying, salad until years later. So this is how I discovered, or this is like just things that I noticed about my salads that made me love salads. But, and I looked around, people have a pretty poor opinion about salads. So I just looked at it like, well, what am I doing that's different? So these are the 5 things. First thing is, you want to have at least 1 pound of leafy greens in your salad. All right. So you want to get that.
This is so much fun, Matt. Like I'm on the edge of my seat for every single one of these 5 pillars, and I can't wait to see if I actually meet them. So number 1, I'm good. Okay, this is fantastic. Please continue.
Perfect. All right. Number 2 is you want to have at least 5 different colors in your salad to get in those polyphenols. Where you at with that?
Some salads are really simple, like if I just do mangoes, papaya, and arugula, I only have 3 colors.
True.
I might just do mangoes and arugula, so I only have 2.
Yep.
But I add more ingredients these days. I might put, especially if you do like cherry tomatoes or something, like mini heirlooms, all of a sudden you get a bunch of colors just from the tomatoes. So it could be simple. Does that count? Can you have different colors from the same produce item?
Definitely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, for somebody like you, some of these things, I'm not worried about you getting enough color in your diet. So this is really just for people that are trying to learn just the basics of how to make a healthy salad. So yeah, if you don't hit that, I'm not concerned about that at all. All right. So the third pillar, you want to have at least 1 cruciferous vegetable. All right. So like arugula or kale or cabbage or something to get in, the extra nutrition that cruciferous vegetables bring, as well as they're a little hardier. All right. So I feel like people are looking for kind of to replicate some of that heaviness that they're used to from, their standard diet. So if you're having a salad and you add in a little bit of those heavier greens, it can help give people a little bit of that heaviness. So, it's still greens. It's not going to be like a steak, but.
Well, let me tell you something. I love arugula so much that I don't know if there's a single meal that doesn't include arugula. So I think arugula is my saving grace on that one.
I love it.
I'll have some cauliflower here or there, some broccoli, purple cabbage. That's fun to throw in a salad.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay. What's next?
Okay. Next would be you want to have at least a little bit of a fresh herb. So like cilantro or parsley or dill or basil, something to give it just that nice hit of flavor and nutrition. And so I think adding in that is very helpful for getting people to really enjoy the salad is having some fresh herb.
Okay, fantastic. Would it be okay if somebody added a dried herb? Sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Fine. Yeah. I'll throw cilantro in there every once in a while. I'm not a huge, but I made a recipe recently that had some like oregano and basil in it. So, nice. I'm halfway there. Okay. Right. What's the next one?
Cool. And the last one is to have a whole food plant-based dressing. All right. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where you're at with dressings. I know you like to keep it, pretty low fat, and I don't think you eat too many nuts and seeds. So in the book, it's mostly nut or seed based salad dressings. There are 5 fat-free salad dressings, but again, this is for people that are just trying to learn how to love salads. Again, I know even if you don't put that in there.
That's fantastic. I mean, I think dressings are great. I think nut and seed dressings are great too. Especially for those who aren't really struggling with the blood glucose challenge. There's like a little more of a buffer there.
Yep.
I'm curious, just so people know, like I generally don't even add a dressing just because the fruit and like tomatoes and stuff, when it's all mixed together, it provides so much. I don't feel like it needs a dressing. Yeah. But that's not everybody. Now I'm curious, of the 5 recipes in there that are like, no fat or no added fat, right?
Yep.
No overt fats.
Yes.
Which one's your favorite?
Oh gosh, I have to look at what they are. Let's see. I would probably, that's tough. I'm going to go with Franche. All right. It's like
sounds like a fake ranch.
It's like French, not ranch, French, but raw. So yeah, it's tomatoes and dates, and I think maybe some garlic. So
super simple.
Yeah, very simple.
I love it. Okay. Yep. And if I can keep asking you questions,
of course.
I'm curious. Okay,
you're gonna win the free ebook.
Yeah. The other book you were holding up. What's the principle of that book? What do people get? What happens if they buy that book?
Yeah, this book is 21-Day Raw Transformation Program. It's basically an introduction into a raw vegan diet, how I got into it, and just the principles that I have kind of lived by, learning from people like yourself and many other, educators out there, and just kind of putting it all together into
Yeah.
my own way.
Uh-huh.
And so,
And
yeah, it gives, I think there's like 77 recipes in there. The cover is more, they look more gourmet, but really it's very simple. That's just to attract the people in. but,
understood. Yeah, of
but yeah,
course.
it's very simple, whole food, SOS free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why did you get into a raw vegan diet?
Yeah, great question. So really, I kind of got into it by accident. It was like, so I grew up with a lot of standard health issues: asthma, eczema. I got sick all the time, depression, constipation, insomnia, all these things. I had a laundry list of things going on. And it wasn't until I came across this radio program on the internet. It was an internet radio program. They were talking about juice fasting. And so I did a 10-day juice fast because for some reason it just kind of sparked my interest. And I had just received a juicer from my brother, like just a few weeks before that, like out of the blue. So I just figured it was a sign. Right. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. I meant to actually only go 3 days. I ended up going 10 days because I felt incredible. Like I was sleeping better. My skin was looking better. Just like my that's another thing. Toxic thinking was a huge change in like I had very self-critical, toxic self-thoughts. Right. And so that even started changing just in those 10 days. And so I was like, whoa. All right, if I haven't been eating all the animal products, the animal protein that I've been told I need to eat to be healthy and strong for 10 days and I feel the best I've ever felt, what else do I not know? So I started watching documentaries. I saw Forks Over Knives. I saw, all the other documentaries that were, popular at that time. And so that really inspired me to start looking more into it. And then I found out, I started going on YouTube. I found Dan McDonald. So I saw him doing his thing in front of his RV. That inspired me. I came across Dr. Robert Morse and John Kohler. So those three guys kind of really first inspired me. And then I learned from, again, people like yourself and other people from Woodstock and all that. So,
what year was this that you started?
2011.
2011.
Yep. 2011.
Excellent.
And so it just changed everything about my life. Like many things I can't even like explain to people, right? It's just like, just everything, just my mindset, my outlook on life, how I saw myself, the role that I, kind of saw myself in this world. So, and just the potential of what I could do. It was a big internal introspective transformation for myself. Yeah. So yeah, it just changed so many things. And then my health, I very rarely in the last 12 plus years, I've been, what people might call sick, like maybe 4 or 5 times. Before that, I was sick almost that many times in a year. Right. Yeah. So it was like a huge transformation in my health, my mindset. And yeah, I even before I got in this, I enjoyed teaching people about like little factoids about, health and diet. So it kind of worked out really well. And so now I just love to inspire people and teach people, some of these very simple things that aren't very well known, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's so amazing how it's a very eye-opening experience, right? You start to question a lot of things, and it just leads down a lot of various rabbit holes.
Yep.
But that's amazing, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
And now you do this show weekly or daily, and then you publish books and you coach people.
Yeah, exactly. All that. I do this show every Sunday, same time, same day. And now I just actually started a new a game show. So I bring 2 people in and they go against each other. I come up with 25, so it's 3 rounds, 10 questions the first 2 rounds, and then a final lightning round. So I would actually love to get you and Cyrus on to go against each other. I think that'd be hilarious.
That sounds fun.
And so, yeah, basically, so I've done 2 shows. We got a show after this show here coming up. So yeah, third episode today. and it's going really well. I love it. If I could do just the game show, I love coming up with these health questions and, you know, making it fun and educational.
Okay, so it's like you're actually asking legit health questions that have a factual answer, and then what happens? Like somebody just hits the button and says, "I know the answer," and they go first or something?
Yeah, so the first round is so there's 10 questions. I alternate between the contestants, and if the person that is answering gets it wrong, the other person can steal. And so we go 10 questions like that. Second round, they've got little cards that have A, B, C, and D on them. It's multiple choice. And so I ask the question, they say when they're ready, then they each hold it up at the same time. And, you know, so there's 10 questions of multiple choice. And then the third final lightning round is kind of like, it's like Family Feud, kind of like the final round of Family Feud, where you got 1 minute to answer 5 questions. And so, yeah, it's basically whoever has the most points. And if you get a point, you get a little watermelon symbol in front of your video. And so, yeah,
I love it. I mean, look, this is the first time we're ever talking. I'm like, I love you bringing some fun energy to this whole thing. I think that's great. It's unique. It's different. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. You put these shows on a podcast platform like Spotify or something?
I need to. No, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to do that. But yeah, I do. I hope to. I plan to. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely make that happen.
For sure. Yeah.
I mean, are there live questions that are happening right now, or?
In the chat, yeah, we've let's see. I don't see
any good questions that we should answer. I love.
Yeah,
when people are here, there's something good about the energy of like answering questions to somebody who's here versus like we could just answer any other question, but if somebody's here and we can serve them, like let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate all the questions from you. Let's head over to the Q&A room. Get in front of the blackboard here. Here we go. All right, guys. So yeah, everybody, thank you again for sticking with us and hanging out and just having fun with us. Again, before we get into the Q&A, do you want to just one more time share where people can find you if they want to learn more about mastering diabetes or anything else that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website, masteringdiabetes.org, is always a good place to start. We have a lot of recipes there, a lot of scientific articles, a lot of case studies of people who have been through our coaching program and applied our method. You can also use the website to navigate to our book. We have a book we're very proud of. Put a lot of time and effort into that manuscript, and it's definitely impacted a lot of lives. So you can get that book anywhere books are sold, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. We read our own audiobook, which is on Audible. And it's also on Spotify. I love to tell people, like, if you've never opened up an Audible account, today's your day, do it. And the first book is free. That could be ours.
Yeah.
And if you are paying for Spotify Premium, which I know a lot of people are, you now get 15 hours of free audiobooks every month. Like, it's incredible. I've listened to so many fantastic books through that. Wow. And I also buy a lot of books on Audible, but our book's on Spotify. So if you're already paying for Spotify Premium, I think our book is like 5 or 6 hours or something. You can go listen to it for free there. You can get it at your library. If you really, really want to learn and understand the science of insulin resistance, which, just to be clear, applies to everybody who's watching the show. You do not need to have diabetes to read that book. If you're struggling with excess weight, if you're struggling with low energy, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, fatty liver disease, chronic kidney disease, if Alzheimer's runs in your family, if retinopathy, neuropathy, I mean, you name it, insulin resistance is, it's like a central node. When you become more insulin sensitive, you are addressing all of those conditions simultaneously. So if you really want to understand insulin resistance, I'm really proud to say, like, I think our book is the best tool you could use to do that. The book does have a bunch of recipes. It has like a little quiz in there where you can figure out how insulin resistant you are. So we're just really proud of it. So the book is a great resource. We're on the major social media platforms. We have a podcast. So we're on, you can find that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, all those places. Instagram, everything is just at Mastering Diabetes. And then personally, I'm currently active on Instagram and Facebook, and hopefully some more platforms soon. But that's Mindful Diabetic Robby. It's where you can find me on those platforms. And yeah, so I hope to connect with you guys, and we're here to help, and hopefully our resources help you truly become insulin sensitive and reverse insulin resistance permanently. That's what we're here to do.
Awesome, man. Yeah, everybody. I have the Audible book, so I love your guys' book. I hope if anybody out there doesn't have it yet, everybody's got to have it. But if they don't, go out and pick it up, because it's incredibly informative. It covers so much, and yeah, it's even like you said, even if you don't have diabetes like myself, it's just great. It's just overall good health knowledge to know, right? So, and you already kind of answered, well, maybe. So the first question comes from Tessa. Tessa, what's up? Thanks for being here again. She says, is mastering diabetes only for people who have diabetes?
Okay, that's a great question. I'm so glad. Tessa, T-E-S-A?
T-S-S-A.
Okay, Tessa, thanks for that question. Good question. So when we were doing our book publicity tour on a bunch of podcasts, and that was super fun, oftentimes the host would say, this book it's kind of for like all diseases, isn't it? And we're like, yeah, it kind of is. But, we both are living with type 1 diabetes, and that's what we've really been focusing on helping people with. So we recently have opened up a mastering weight loss coaching program for those who wanted to, come. And we had many people sign up for our coaching program that didn't have diabetes. They would get on one of our calls and ask, like, well, I don't have diabetes, but I really want to do this. I think this is good for me. So we kind of like, to a certain extent, we take it a little bit further than like most of the plant-based world. There's like different degrees even within the plant-based world. And, I had helped launch Forks Over Knives with my buddy Brian Wendell. He is Forks Over Knives. He's amazing. I learned a lot from him. But we go like even a little bit beyond it as far as really helping people reverse insulin resistance. And we found that over the years, with the clients we've been working with, the mastering diabetes method was very effective at helping people lose weight, especially a lot of people that had a little stubborn weight. They tried a lot of things. They have been dabbling in many plant-based options, and just wasn't getting them where they wanted to go. And coming across our method and some of the principles that we apply, especially being really fruit friendly, like encouraging people to eat really as much fruit as they want and helping them get to that point, has been fantastic for weight loss. So yeah, we can help that. Those are the two specific programs we have is mastering diabetes and then mastering weight loss. But yeah, in general, the principles in the book, if somebody didn't really want to join the coaching program, but just wanted to read and learn and apply the principles, the recipes, the science of a truly low fat plant-based whole food diet has a broad reach, like I just described a moment ago.
Terrific. Yeah. Again, I've learned so much from the information you guys put out on your, all your platforms, YouTube and Instagram and the book. And yeah, it's truly, it's for everything, right? So yeah, definitely anybody will benefit from it.
For sure.
Sherry says, what's up, Sherry? Thanks for being here as well. She says, if you haven't answered this already, which we haven't, what is the first thing that you tell family members who have diabetes and they think they need meat and low carb based on all the research and glucose monitoring readings?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the first thing I would do in such a situation is I would try and find out, like, are they an opening for even anything? Like, do they even want to hear anything? Because if they're closed, don't even like waste your breath. Like, you're better off spending your time, like doing the work you're doing. Like, you're talking to people who are interested in what you have to say, right?
Yeah.
So find out if they're an opening. If they are interested and they're open, then I think the best thing you could do is just encourage them to get educated from a resource that they trust, which is the whole reason of why we started Mastering Diabetes. When I was at Forks Over Knives, people would watch the movie and you would see two people reverse type 2 diabetes in the movie. And I was there for 6 years. And over the years, we would publish all these articles and testimonials, and it was great. But if somebody was actually living with diabetes and wanted support in making the transition, there was nowhere to go. There wasn't like one specific destination, website, program where you could really get into those nuances. And that's what that's our intention with Mastering Diabetes. That's what we've done our best to create. And so point them towards a resource that is trustworthy and a resource that understands them. You know, over the years of Cyrus and I having thousands of people go through our coaching program, I was surprised to see how many people living with type 2 diabetes really resonated with our life experience of living with type 1. And I just came to the conclusion, like, look, we're actually kind of like all in the same family here. Like, we're testing our blood glucose, we're monitoring our carbohydrate intake to take certain medications. Like, it's all the same. And really that, and in our book and in the subtitle of the book, like, we take all types of diabetes together, put them in one family and say, look, it doesn't matter what type you're living with. Your goal is to maximize your insulin sensitivity. It doesn't matter if you have type 1 or type 2, we're still in that same focus. And then you have these laundry list of benefits. So I would then, if they're an opening for education, then we have one specific video on YouTube, which has really impacted a lot of people. It has like 1.9 million views. It says start here on the thumbnail. It's called Insulin Resistance Diet, What to Eat and Why. It's an hour-long lecture. Cyrus and I share our personal stories, and then Cyrus gives the full lecture. And it's really powerful. So if somebody's an opening and they're willing to sit down and watch a video for 1 hour, then hopefully they get their mind open. Because what we do, part of the work we do is explain why this condition is so confusing. So this person, the way they ask that question, yeah, their family member has the CGM. And when they do eat a bunch of protein and a bunch of fat, and they keep their carbohydrates down, they do see a flat line. Like, they lose weight, they get off some diabetes meds. Like, there's all kinds of great things that happen. And we chapter 7 of our book is the long-term keto and long-term plant-based, like a comparison. And so when Cyrus and I wrote that chapter, we said, look, we're going to write this chapter as if we are making a case for the keto diet. We're going to really understand that research, really understand what is the peer-reviewed literature saying about that topic, and why are there so many people on the internet getting great results, right? Like, what is, and it's true. Like, these are not like misleading or people telling lies about what's happened to their health and blood glucose levels on a keto diet. Like, it's all real. But it takes a deeper level of education to understand why that's happening and why they are actually more insulin resistant. And if they did, if we want to get really nuanced here, okay, if they did see an improvement in insulin sensitivity, which there are some studies that show this in the peer-reviewed literature, even going from what they were doing to a keto diet, it's very minimal. It's a small improvement. And then when you go look at the magnitude of the change in insulin sensitivity, when you follow a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet, now you really begin to see what is true insulin sensitivity, not some like micro improvement from a terrible standard American diet to now like a fairly clean ketogenic diet, right? And there's a great study that came out recently, which is that demonstrating not all low carb or keto diets are the same. And that a low carb or keto diet that includes more plants has far better overall metabolic outcomes. You know, all-cause mortality and stuff goes actually down. So they're not all created equal. So the topic is nuanced, and that person that is using the CGM and is seeing things in their own body, they really need to get educated. They really need to understand, because it's not as simple as like, oh, wow, just like, you know, tomorrow go and have, you know, one of Matt's 5-star salads and all of a sudden your blood glucose is going to be sensational. Actually, it's not the case. Right. Your blood glucose is going to be terrible. You need to know why, right? You need to understand that it's this accumulated dietary fat that has put you into a state of insulin resistance. Okay, so how do I work my way out of that? You know, how do I have patience here? How do I see that process through and understand like the bigger picture? So that was a long rant there to say, you know, number one, are they an opening? And number two, give them information from a credible source.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's perfect. And you yourself went through that, you know, anecdotally, you went through that experiment, right? Because you started off on more of like, almost like a ketogenic plant-based diet, didn't you?
I absolutely did. I was doing, again, Dr. Gabriel Cousins' program. He's an amazing guy. I got nothing but mad respect for him and what he's doing in the world. And he teaches people to eat a plant-based ketogenic diet. It wasn't labeled that at the time, but that's what it is. You know, you're getting your calories from nuts and seeds, from oils, lots of greens, but you got to be careful with the non-starchy vegetables because they have too many carbohydrates, and you definitely are not going to be having fruit or on that program. So yeah, I tried that, and I had the opportunity to experience, what happened to my blood glucose levels, what happened to my insulin use, but then also what happened to my insulin sensitivity, what happened to, and that's a big thing we're teaching the world here, is you got to understand your glucose tolerance. You have to have a glucose challenge if you're going to talk about insulin sensitivity. So I was very insulin resistant on that program. Although, yeah, my total insulin use went down, my blood glucose was pretty steady, but I was non-insulin sensitive and I wasn't feeling great. And so I ended up searching for more and more solutions, and eventually finding, Doug Graham and the 80-10-10 diet. And then, I'm very lucky early on in my days, I got to learn from people like Dr. Neil Barnard and really begin to understand the science behind it, and really come from that from the beginning. There's a very old video of me on YouTube, probably maybe like 2008 or something, of me like reciting one of Barnard's important studies, and Dr. What's his name? Kempner, but also James W. Anderson. James W. Anderson, famous 1979 study. So I'm very passionate about the history of insulin resistance. I have a long, like an hour-long lecture. It's on YouTube. So you can just type in maximize insulin sensitivity, mastering diabetes. You'll get this article for like 18 landmark studies of us understanding what truly causes insulin resistance dating back to the 1920s. We wrote about some of that research in the book, but it was too much. It all didn't even make the book. Writing the book process is so like concise and refined. Like you're thinking about every sentence. It's unbelievable. But anyways, those 18 studies are easily findable on YouTube, on the internet. And so we know what causes insulin resistance, and we know what makes somebody, supremely insulin sensitive. And that's really the magic of what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Adam asks, is it possible to eat too much fruit in one day? How much is too much for someone with type 2 diabetes?
Okay, so anything is possible. Okay, yes, it's possible, but it's very difficult and quite unlikely. And the reason is because, especially in the beginning, okay, if you are just starting out, your stomach is not used to large volumes, right? After you've been doing this for maybe like 5 years or something, your stomach is now much more able to handle like large volumes. It'd be easier to actually eat too much, which is totally possible. But the reason it's challenging is because there's so much water and so much fiber that you will just be like, I'm done eating. And you will have consumed of far less calories than you'd ever imagine because of the calorie density. And likely, again, it depends on where diet you're coming from. But if it's a standard American diet, then you're certainly going to be consuming less calories because you can just only eat so much food. Like people generally eat about the same volume of food per day, but as you do this longer, you will definitely be increasing that.
Beautiful. Carl says, how many bananas are too many bananas? I have like 10 every day. Is that too many?
Again, like, I mean, look, it could get really nuanced, right? Like if you're eating the 10 bananas and you're eating a bunch of other junk, I don't know, maybe that's spiking. I mean, maybe you could try. I'm trying to make a case for how it would be possible. Cause in general, the answer is like, no.
Yeah.
But, I mean, maybe you're taking some medication, maybe there's kidney issues that there's to pay attention to. Depending on if you have like stage 4, stage 5, there's all kinds of like nuanced things that's based on somebody's personal health and medications you're using and all that. But in general, like at large, 10 bananas per day. Like if you ended up looking at the composition of the food, you're like, okay, how much water did I just get from eating those bananas, right? How many calories did I get? How much protein did I get? How much grams of fat? You start looking at it through that lens. You're like, oh, wow, like 10 bananas is no problem. Like what's wrong with all those individual things that I just put in my body? Yeah. And,
Yeah. All right. Well, that's unless anybody has a last minute question here, or last second question, we are at the top of the hour. So thank you, Robby, for the amazing wisdom and knowledge and having this discussion with me today. I really appreciate it. Let's we'll quick do the drawing here. All right. So we're going to quick.
Yes.
All right. So I don't have a fancy thing to pick a name, so I just scroll through the chat with my mouse without looking and see who it lands on. So here we go. So we are scrolling.
Drum roll.
Yeah, drum roll. We've got Adam. So Adam, you can send me an email at matt@myrawintuition.com, and I'll get you that ebook, and I'll get you the link to Robby's. It was the
foolproof natural recipe guide.
Yes, that's it. All right.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Matt, it was really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well, Robby. Again, I've been admiring you from afar for so long. It's great to finally be able to speak to you and have you on the show. Hope to do it again sometime. And yeah, if you're interested in that game show appearance, let me know. Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, man. I'll catch you later.
All right. Yes, thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
All right, take care, everybody. And we'll see you, actually follow up with us in just an hour to be on the game show. We've got we've got Mallory versus Stacy, and that's going to be a fun show. So I hope you will join us. And yeah, so see you back in an hour, hopefully. Otherwise, we'll see you next week, same time, same place, for another amazing episode. We've got Adam Sudd coming on the show next week, so that'll be really fun too. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks again.